Hey, everybody. I think we're going to start at 4:15 because Leo's getting some text that there's some traffic, so people are on the way. But we'll start at 4:15 and at 5:15 and then go from there. So just so you know. Okay, everybody, we're going to get started. Wow. Was that me? Hopefully that wasn't me. I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for coming to our 2018 State of the Department. It's been a few years since we've done this, and it's a different format. It's not me speaking the whole time, which makes me very happy, and I'm sure everyone else. We're going to have a group of people presenting, and it's more of a celebration of so many of the things that we do. So for those of you, if anyone doesn't know me, I'm Ross Arena. I'm the department head, and I'll kick things off. And we're going to live webcast it, and so with that, for those of you who have a Twitter account or social media people, please utilize the social media and broadcast this far and wide. This will become our annual newsletter as well, if you will. We'll post this, and this is how we'll keep people within the UIC family and external to the UIC family informed of all of the great things that we do. So just real briefly, for those of you who don't know me, I talk a little bit about my history. I have a bachelor's in human performance from Southern Connecticut State University, Bo Fernhall's alma mater as well. I have an MS in PT from Virginia Commonwealth, and I got my PhD in physiology from Virginia Commonwealth as well. I've moved around a bit, which isn't typically what academics do, but my first job was at NYU. I went back to Virginia Commonwealth and then started up the administrative chain at University of New Mexico for 2 years, and then came to UIC, where I've been department head this is my 5th year, and feel like I've finally found a home within the department. It's just really a fantastic place to be, and fantastic people that I work with. And then my research focus is cardiovascular exercise and rehabilitation, and focusing on chronic disease risk reduction through healthy living, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So a little bit about the department's history. It's a 45-year rich history, and started in '73 with 6 students. And then we went to just some brief highlights. In 2001, we started the DPT with the first graduating class in 2004. So we're coming up on our 50-year anniversary in a few years. And so there's a lot to share, and really excited to see everyone present and talk about those things. What we decided to do as well is invite alumni classes back. So we are going to invite the 10-year and 20-year classes. Unfortunately, no one from '98 could make it, but several people from 2008, the class of 2008, could make it. If anyone is in the room, I know there was some traffic from the class of 2008. Can you stand? Is anyone here? 2? All right. Welcome back. Leo is actually on faculty, so he's here all the time, and but really glad to have him as part of the department. I'm not going to read this slide. I'm sure that is a relief. I'm not a big read line by line, but this is our department vision, and just to highlight a couple things, which I think will become a theme throughout the talk, is we really do aspire to, and in many ways have become, leaders in the profession in the areas of scholarship, teaching, and service. And really proud of all of the things we do. And then you'll see one word highlighted, which is innovative. And there are some plans for us to incorporate that more so in our brand, hopefully. But we do a lot of things that are first of its kind in the country for physical therapy, again, which will be a theme throughout this talk, and very proud of all of the things we do. And I'll highlight some of those, and then other presenters will highlight as well. So a couple things I just want to talk about and celebrate, and then I left it to the other individuals who will present to kind of pick what they want to celebrate. And I went through the slide deck for the final time this morning, and it's really some great stuff. We're going to keep this to 60 minutes and then socialize and talk. Nobody wants to hear us go on, but we could really go on with all of the things that we do. So I talk about our scholarly productivity quite a bit. It's a metric we pay attention to. It's not of course, the only thing we do. We have very strong educational programming. Our service commitment is very strong, which is a big part of UIC. But scholarship and disseminating knowledge is a huge part of the profession. And so we have, and I just checked this morning again, I had to update the slides. Web of Science is one way to track productivity. We have 800 historical publications, and 432 of them have come in the last 5 years. So we have accelerated, and we continue to accelerate. And we are one of the very few programs in the country at this level. Another benchmark that we hit this year is our work has been cited over 2,000 times in a single year by other investigators. The air is very thin for colleges or departments in the country who can boast that. So we are leading the way with our knowledge and setting the tone for the profession in that way. Also, and Dr. Phillips will talk about more of this, but just looking at, in parallel to our publication history, our grantsmanship and our funding has increased 32% over the last 5 years, which is also reflective of our productivity. And there's much more to come. I think we're just going to continue to accelerate in this way. UIC is a global institution, and we really do embrace that global commitment. When you look at our faculty, our students, and also where we collaborate and where we have relationships with. This is attached to our publication history, but these are meaningful collaborations, individuals we publish with, we do grants with, we have other types of programs with. Our department is all over the world. And that's a very important part of the department's brand as well, something we're all very proud of, the diversity that we have within the department and our global commitment. So then a couple of other things, and this kind of gets to the innovative piece. We have started to move into the market of what we're phrasing, and we haven't invented this, but the stackable credential. So we have now several graduate certificates, somewhere between 12 and 22 credits, where students can come in and that are either taking the DPT or in another professional or graduate program and stack a graduate certificate on top of that. And this is just one example. Other faculty who present will talk about yet others that we are delivering, and we are going to launch others. But the Healthy Living Practitioner Certificate was just launched. It's trademarked by the American Heart Association, and we are the first to launch it in the country. And then other universities in Australia, Europe, and around the US are starting to move the approval process for also delivering the Healthy Living Practitioner Graduate Certificate, training all professions how to deliver what we've branded as Healthy Living Medicine. It's a 22 credit certificate program. You could use it in conjunction with a master's or PhD as well. But this is just one example of us being innovative and addressing the healthcare needs that are most dire, one of which being chronic disease risk and risk reduction through healthy lifestyle, exercise, nutrition, and so on. So this is just, again, just one example I like to highlight. These next two slides, I am going to give them because Sam Bond, who leads our technology initiatives, unfortunately couldn't be here. But we really do have a robust technology core. As we all know, technology is here to stay with healthcare, and so we feel as a department we need to get into this game and lead the way in technology and rehabilitation and healthy living and so on. So we actually have within the department, under Sam's leadership, developed several apps for your mobile devices on how to deliver lifestyle interventions, how to track pain, so on and so forth. And we did that in this department. And so this is just a couple examples of the apps that we have in development. We're developing more. So again, we do so many things, and technology is a big part of our identity, innovative technology in the area of rehabilitation. Along those lines as well, and then I'll finish up, Sam led, and she came and actually said, I want to launch what she coined as a health tech jam, where she brought together PT students and students from the Department of Biomedical Visualization, downstairs on the second floor within the college, and faculty from those departments to come together into teams to have a think tank, if you will, on other apps, on other technology that can be brought to market and make an impact in the field of rehabilitation. In its first year, it had over 45 students, 10 expert faculty judges. There were 8 fully designed apps, and the winner was a DPT student who developed a nutrition app. And so thinking about the rich experiences our students get beyond what they come here for their professional training, but expanding their horizons, if you will. And it was just such a wonderful experience. And to our knowledge, we're the first in the country to do something like this, and we'll do this every year. So that's just a couple things that I wanted to celebrate and talk about and highlight. And with that, I'm going to finish up, and I'm just going to introduce our presenters or give you the lineup. So we have a really strong leadership team within the department. We actually now have over 20 faculty. So for those who were here in 2008, and for those watching on the webcast, we've grown substantially, and we plan to grow more. And you'll see why we've grown with the new programs and initiatives that we have. But our leadership core is going to do the rest of the presentations today. So Dr. Phillips, who is the Associate Head and Senior Associate Dean of Clinical Affairs, will be first up, and then Shane will introduce the rest of the faculty that will present. So I really hope you enjoy the talk, and then please stay around and eat and have some things to drink and socialize. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming.
Well, thanks, Dr. Arena, for getting us started and for introducing us all, the department, to you guys. There's so much to talk about, actually, and so much to celebrate. I'm just thinking back when just a little bit of my history and background. I came here in 2004 and started my lab work in terms of research 2007. We've just grown in innumerable ways, and in ways that I wouldn't have imagined. So I'm really focusing my portion of the presentation on the research portfolio. We have a phenomenal group of faculty, core faculty, students in all of the programs that are involved in research. And so part of what I'll discuss today is that aspect of what we do in the Department of Physical Therapy. It truly is innovative. What hasn't changed is this building, per se. It's still there. That's the one available on the website. I think we need not our website, but if you Google, we probably need an update, maybe less snow. But these are the laboratories that the faculty develop or run and develop. I'm going to highlight a couple, and I'm so sorry I can't highlight everybody. We could talk all day about all the wonderful work that everyone does in the research laboratories. I'm also going to mention and show you some examples of I would call them, real life and real world laboratories that we have here on campus. And Dr. Arena's mention of the global network is true, and that's for research too. It's an amazing network that we have and that we collaborate with. To start, Dr. Arena mentioned a little bit about research dollars, okay? And in 2012 or so, I think I had we were compiling the accreditation report and pulling together research dollars, and I just thought, and I think there were some numbers up there, it would be nice to know where we stack up and where we stand. And so I called some of the people at the accreditation just to get a rough estimate. And they wouldn't give me rankings, right? But they said, we were probably in the top 10, 2012. So 2016, the group of programs that called themselves research-intensive physical therapy programs came together and put together data summarizing research grants and pooling that data so that and also other metrics. Okay, so this is a summary of that data. These are the top research-intensive programs in the U.S. that had reported data, and these are the dollars in terms of overall funding all years, so not just 1 year, not one fiscal year, but the entire amount of the grant support to that was associated with that institution in the Department of Physical Therapy. Okay, and you can imagine that these top 5 to 10 data points are some of the top-ranked schools, and they are. We have an impressive research grant portfolio when you compare it to the rest of the programs throughout the country. And I think that we're going to celebrate that tonight. So the other thing to note is if we look most recently, this is 2016, we continue to grow, we continue to build research, our faculty to continue to have amazing successes. Okay, so I'm summarizing these here. It's probably hard to find any other department of physical therapy in the country that would have this record. In terms of the number of NIH R01s, NIH funding, Dr. Mahmoud is over there. She just received a K-99. This is a prestigious training grant. She's a research assistant professor from the NIH on the first trial. If you add all this up, using the same metrics, we're over 9 million. So when we do this again, I think it's going to be even more impressive in terms of the comparison to the other universities. So to start in terms of highlight, Dr. Arun, the director of the Harry Knight Movement Science Laboratory. Harry Knight was a previous department head of the department. And this laboratory is highly productive. 10 papers published this past year. There's a number of awards to students in the laboratory. And 2000, it's well funded from National Multiple Sclerosis Society and U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. And Dr. Ruin received in 2013 the Professor of the Year award from Applied Health Sciences. Another distinguished laboratory, again, only mentioning a couple, is Dr. Sangeetha Madhavan. And she's doing amazing work on brain plasticity and how interventions can really help individuals that have stroke and other neurological diseases and disorders. She's funded by 2 NIH grants, and this past year received the AHS Researcher of the Year award. And just today, she forwarded us an email that one of her students was funded by a pre-doctoral American Heart Association grant. Again, very hard to get these things. It's very hard to get these things. As an extension of this research, as I mentioned, we extend beyond the walls that are confined to a laboratory. Dr. Arena is intensively involved with a registry that is first of its kind in the world, that brings together centers across the U.S. and across the world to analyze and to register cardiopulmonary exercise testing variables. And as an extension of this, we have a number of students, PhD students, master students that are and DPTs that are collaborating on this registry. One was published earlier this year, is shown here in Journal Hypertension from one of our PhD students. And then we have extensions into the Integrative Physiology Laboratory in the college, exercise training. This is Mohammed, who works with me in my laboratory doing an ultrasound of echocardiography in the laboratory. If you look out my window, I guess this is what you see. We collaborate with all of our campus partners. With the hospital, we have a number of collaborations clinically and for research. This is a window, a view. I won't get into the details. Aaron's going to talk about this later, about the clinical practice. Again, another window into our research enterprise. And then the Clinical Research Center, which is here, showing one of our PhD students doing an exam in this setting. We're celebrating, and in the spirit of collaboration, I'll tell just a brief story about one example from my laboratory. I think the department embodies this, not this, but this collaborative spirit. Melissa Gozlowski was an MS student in rehabilitation. 2013, around 2009, she was putting a bug in my ear about looking at how alcohol is affecting the cardiovascular system and how a lot of our research subjects who are coming in and are athletes and highly competitive and trained were reporting high volumes of alcohol consumption. And so I took the chance and walked across the street to the College of Nursing. And ever since then, with her, with Melissa, we started this collaboration that has really changed the trajectory of what I do. And has resulted in research grants, research publications that I wouldn't have imagined when I started my career here. So again, that's the spirit I think we have in the department. Here's some more examples collaborating with our network of clinical partners in the community. Revolution Physical Therapy is one of them, where we've had a student through a contract, business contract that we've developed, IRB approved research project to look at cardiovascular risk markers during a physical therapy intervention in the clinical setting. So there's one example. And then Dr. Severin, in collaboration with bariatric surgery, we've started a model, 1 day a week service for bariatric patients, pre and post-operative cases, and the clinical outcomes, again, short amount of time from the beginning of this service offering to what we're doing now, but there's lots of opportunities for research in terms of outcomes with bariatrics and with the bariatric surgeons. And then lastly, building on the technology and innovation piece, again, here's a window into the faculty practice. And within that faculty practice, we have many opportunities for research. Here's an example of one Mohammed has started to build, and we've started to collaborate on building technologies such as ECG that are specific for cardiac rehabilitation and blood pressure monitoring in this clinic. And then so lastly, one new offering that we've launched, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, so new to the state of the department, is a certificate in clinical rehabilitation and technology research. And so what this does is it allows students, particularly DPT students, an advanced, solidified research project and course of study that allows them to gain graduate credits towards potentially applying those to a graduate degree, while also starting a small research project with a mentor. And so we've had about 6 or 7 students enrolled, and this year we're going to graduate our first cohort, and it was a short turnaround because they only had 2 years to do their program in conjunction with the DPT. So with that, I am going to pass it over to our distinguished Dr. Girolami, who's the DPT program director.
Hello. So my pleasure is to talk about our Doctor of Physical Therapy program, and I think one of the things that I've seen over the 5 years that I've been here is that students in our program are really outstanding. They grow to be autonomous and committed practitioners. And that's really a goal of ours, to not only have the research funding, to have all of the additional programs that we have, but to really excel in the educational aspects of the Doctor of Physical Therapy program. So I'm kind of broke this down into a variety of concepts. The first is academic excellence. And many of you are students here, and you know how hard you worked, and you know that it takes quite a bit of effort and study to get into a DPT program. The acceptance rate is a little over 5% for the number of applicants that we get, which is well over 1,000 each year. So it's a very select group of students. And it shows up in so many ways, one of which is in the National Physical Therapy Examination, which in 2017, 100% of our class passed the exam on the first attempt. This is really a phenomenal outcome that we've been reaching for. We weren't satisfied with 98% on the first attempt, which is our our percentage over the past few years. So we were really excited to have this 100% pass rate, and we're looking to now the class of 2018 to help us keep that pass rate. The other thing that's really important in the data that we get from these examinations is the fact that our students are consistently passing the exam above the national average, which is really important. They're not just meeting the average level, they are excelling there, and their scores are consistently above. So our pass rate is above and our scores are above. So in the interest of academics, I have, and I just want you to know that I could have probably put 100 slides in, but given the time and the restriction that we try to keep it short and to the point, I wanted to just highlight some of the academic achievements and other achievements of our students. So this year at the APTA Combined Sections meeting, the class of 2018 had 3 representatives who submitted a poster that was accepted for presentation, and that would be Tommaso Colello, Kelsey Baker, and Alex Nelson. And following right along, not to be outshone, the class of 2019, under the direction of Dr. Madhavan, put together a systematic review on women's health that was accepted as a poster, and that was a group of 6 students that worked together on a project in class and turned it into a really exciting poster. So Christiana Berlini, Emily Chase, Ryan Poloski, Corinne Busby, Daniel Lutmer, and Cole Evans. So what else do our students do when they're not studying, which they do a lot? And they spend a great deal of their week trying to not only absorb but excel in the material presented. We have portfolios that we ask the students to do, and the role of the portfolios is for them to look into other areas that are of interest to them. We call them self-directed learning experiences, and I wanted to just highlight some of the self-directed learning experiences. For the past 3 years, well over half the class in each of the cohorts in the past 3 years have gone to Nicaragua on a health mission. And the last group, this is the class of 2019, had, I think, over 40 students that traveled to Nicaragua. And not only does it create a wonderful opportunity for them to learn more about each other and spend time together, but more importantly, it gives them an opportunity to share the educational knowledge that they gained in the first year and a half with people in underserved areas. So you can see that they have worked with adults, they have worked with children, they have done diabetes groups, and every year this 7 to 10 day health mission grows. And what the students tell us is it's an amazing opportunity for them to begin to put into practice what they've learned, but more than that, to be able to share that with individuals in an underserved area and really see what it means to be a physical therapist that gives back, that has social responsibility. This year, one of our students, Brooke Leach, who is going to graduate, she worked together with Kyle Kaufman, and they went to one of the pro bono clinics near the university. And they started out small with a group of 5 or 6 students from their class, and they went to that clinic to, as you can see, take histories from families, talk to families about their home programs, create not only learning opportunities for themselves, but to provide health care to individuals who really don't have either the financial resources or the insurance resources to receive those services. Our students also are committed to mentoring, and they do this in a variety of ways. Here, a group of students with Dr. Both went to teach aides, nursing aides, how to do best practice in terms of transfers and helping individuals in skilled nursing facilities be safe in their transfers and in their daily living activities. We've also had many students who go out to pre-PT clubs and share their information with students that want to pursue a career in physical therapy. So they go and they not only talk to them about what physical therapy is, but they keep an ongoing contact with them and help them as they make decisions about courses to take and how to prepare their applications. We talked a little bit before about prevention and wellness, and this is one of the areas in the self-directed learning experiences in the portfolios, and many students have come up with really remarkable activities. I'm just going to highlight one activity that a group of students in the first year class created an opportunity to go out and go to a local grade school and provide after-school physical activity for children that are in a after-school programs. So often those children need to be there because their parents are working, and while the school creates different opportunities for them, it might not include the physical activity. So they've created a program, and their goal is to pass that on. We'd like to create sustainable activities that students can pass on from one cohort of students to the next. And I'm sure there's many more examples, but this is, you know, a way of giving you an idea of what our students are doing when they're not studying. Our students are also committed to leadership. Sam Caravat, who's graduating this May, was the president of the Student Special Interest Group of the Illinois Physical Therapy Association. She also is the recipient of this year's UIC DPT Outstanding Student Award and was just awarded the IPTA Physical Therapy Student of the Year. I will see if this works. Oh, we have no volume. One sec. The one thing I didn't check. Oh, we should have it. Sorry. Well, let me see. Well, we're going to go on. And I'm going to tell you that this commitment to leadership continues. And as we learned several weeks ago, 3 of the students from the second year class were voted into the role of president, vice president, and secretary treasurer of the IPTA Student Special Interest Group. So we have not only this continuing leadership, but an opportunity to ensure that the voices of the students in our program are heard, as well as the voices of students in the many other programs in the state of Illinois. This year, another exciting new tradition was started. The second year class asked if they could have a white coat ceremony. And that took place last week, and it was a truly moving and really fantastic event on many levels. They felt it marked their transition into the professional clinical part of their physical therapy education. They'll all be leaving in May to go out to their clinicals. But it gave us as faculty and their parents a really great opportunity to learn something about every student in the class. They did a photo with a bio for every student as they walked up, and it was truly exciting to know where these students had come from, where they planned to go, and just to learn something more personal about each student. So this, hopefully, this new tradition, we know they want to pass on to next year's class, and this looks like this will be the new tradition in our program to transition our students from their academic to their clinical experiences. And one thing that somebody said Steve Norda said last week at the pinning ceremony, he gave quite a moving speech as one of the co-chairs. And what he really focused on was the fact that in their cohort, and I'm sure in every cohort, the students work together. The students don't compete with each other. They support each other. They really create bonds that last a lifetime. So it made me think of the Three Musketeers and the all for one and one for all, because I feel that's what I see in these students. It's so incredible to watch how each student will look out for other students and support other students. So I wanted to close with a photo, quite an exceptional photo, of this year's graduating class of 2018. You know, I get a little misty and teary-eyed, but I'm not going to apologize for that, because it just means that I really, really am proud of all of you, and that we know not only are you well-trained, intelligent, but that you will be committed to your patients, and you will demonstrate the type of program that we have here at UIC for each of the students that chooses to come to and be a part of our Doctor of Physical Therapy program. So I would just like to have a round of applause for our next graduating class. And with that, I would like to introduce Dr. Alexandra Ruin, who will talk with you about the Master of Science in Rehabilitation Sciences. There's a...
Thank you, Dr. Girolami. I'm going to talk about our advanced graduate program, Master Program in Rehabilitation Sciences. The program started very recently, and in 2011 we had only 7 graduate faculty and about 8 graduate students. Look our achievements over a short period of time. Now we have more students. Now we have, I know why you're laughing, because it's my signature finger that I use while teaching in the class. So now we have 25 students in the MS program, and our goal is to increase the number of students so many more can attend our program and learn a lot. Indeed, what we have a very diverse group of students. They come from all over the world, from many different countries. It's a real global program that the Department of Physical Therapy hosts. what is also important, we have a very diverse group of faculty. So interacting with students from different backgrounds and different environments, it gives a lot of opportunities to learn from each other. I want to mention that our graduate students also have different backgrounds. There are physical therapists, occupational therapists, medical doctors, engineers, experts in sleep disorders, and so on and so on. And all of them come together in one program, and they learn from each other. And this learning curve means a lot for them. Our students achieved a lot. They heavily publish the results of their research activity in different very well-respected journals, and the list is on the slide is very short. But we also know that our students participate in different conferences and research forums. There is one example of our MS student Nikita Goyal, who last year received award from the Chancellor, and it's very rewarding to know that our MS students can achieve a lot. More than that, this year our graduate students participated in the UIC Research Forum, and the representation was exceptional. You can see different students present the results of their work, and it's very rewarding for the students because they can express themselves and learn how to report their findings, as well as for faculty who support students throughout the entire program, and they see the students succeed significantly. One very recent result. Only yesterday we learned that one of our current second-year PhD, second-year MS students, Pooja, received Chancellor and Provost Award for graduate research. It's a huge achievement for a student. It's a huge achievement for the student's advisor, Dr. Madhavan, and it's a huge achievement for the entire program. I want to conclude that we are at the very beginning of a journey, and we are planning to retitle the program in order to allow more students to come to the Department of Physical Therapy and to learn more. Thank you, and now I'm, one more slide, sorry. It happens all the time. Our graduates found a very significant places to advance their career. Several of them now continue in the PhD programs in different prestigious universities. The names are only here: University of Illinois at Chicago. We have several students continuing studying in the PhD program in rehabilitation sciences in kinesiology. And several students also admitted and continue their advanced training in the University of Southern California, University of Kansas, University of Wisconsin. More than that, many graduates who get their master's degree from our department, they return back to clinical work if they had clinical education before. They do clinical related research, and what is also important, several of them went to a medical school. Dr. Phillips mentioned today Melissa, who I believe now is already got her medical degree and continues being a very productive researcher. As well as a number of graduates from our MS program in rehabilitation sciences who have a passion to clinical work. They go for a future education in the DPT program in our department or other departments. And now it's time for a last slide, and I want to introduce Lindsay Streeter, who will continue presenting the achievements of our department. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. So I'm Lindsay Streeter, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the director of the Health and Wellness Academy. I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of background. So we set out to solve a problem, or I guess a couple problems. And our first focus was on our UIC students. And we asked ourselves, how do we provide them with more experiential learning opportunities where our health science students are taking what they learn in their didactic courses and actually applying it out in the real world. We also asked, how are we providing them with more interprofessional collaboration? And then we said, in what way are our students getting out in the community and making an impact, especially with UIC sitting in the third largest city in the country. So this is John Dewey, and he is a well-known educational scholar and theorist, and he said, we learn best by doing. So we thought, how do we get our UIC students to do? And that led us to our second focus. So we all are aware of some of the dire rates and statistics of childhood obesity. And having had several years in the public schools, I know that our schools are under-resourced to combat this problem. Time, money, personnel, motivation. A lot of times teachers are there teaching what is being tested, math and reading. So not a lot is devoted to this focus. And I also realize that a lot of the current interventions that are out there right now are not based on any education models, nor do they keep in mind some of those learning styles of that at-risk youth that we work with. And there's a low retention rate for mentors, so they don't have the ability to sustain themselves. So our answer, our solution, was creating the Health and Wellness Academy, or HWA. And what it is, it's a service learning course. And it provides experiential learning. We have our health science students who are taking their skills and knowledge and actually going out into a real community and working with real community members. It is multi-tiered, so we have undergraduates, graduate students, recent grads, and professionals all collaborating together. It's multidisciplinary. So in my group of undergraduate students, I have students concentrating in psychology, education, kinesiology, nutrition, social work. And then for my grad students, I have grad students in rehab science, physical therapy, nutrition. And then our professionals, I have a registered dietitian that I work with, and then myself with a background in education. We give course credit. So it's 3 credits, which incentivizes these students to continue through the program. This is a spring semester course. And then in conjunction with the course, they're out there in the community actually running a health and wellness program for Chicago youth. So what are my goals? I ask that my UIC students first form relationships with these kids and build trust with them. Because in order for them to then disseminate information and teach them, those kids are going to be more likely to listen, right? So I then have them take their background in the health sciences, and they provide a comprehensive curriculum based on both nutrition and physical activity. For our Chicago youth, I ask them to just consider healthier alternatives with food and movement, and really build a positive relationship with both of those things. And if they do that, they're more willing to pass that information on to others, family, community members, teachers. So how does it work? So every week we have a lecture component on Mondays, and during this time we discuss current educational topics, and then we do a lot of collaboration. We also do a lot of planning for what happens in our lab practicum times. So we offer 3 different lab practicums, and these are at our school sites. So 2 of them on Tuesday and Thursday occur at Smith Elementary School, and we serve as an after-school program there. And we work with 3rd through 5th grade. And then we are at Altus Academy on Wednesdays, and we are embedded in their day as an elective, and we work with kindergarten through 8th grade students there. So in that Monday time, what we do is we take the CDC National Health Education Standards, and we use it as a larger umbrella to inform our learning objectives. And once we do that, we think of who our learners are. What are their needs? What are their interests? And we plan activities based on that. And meaningful educational opportunities. I know that when students are able to relate to a topic and they see relevancy in their lives, they are more likely to retain that information and then also pass that on to others. And then in those lab practicum times, those school sites, during implementation, our UIC students are immersed in 2 different things. So we have our nutrition component and we have our physical activity component. And during the nutrition component, our UIC students lead the youth in following a recipe and then creating, making, and eating a nutritional snack or meal. And then during the physical activity portion, the UIC students have created these activities based on our learners, and they range. So again, they're informed by those CDC standards, but they can range anywhere from teaching them mindfulness with yoga to incorporating technology into their daily exercises. So we end this semester with a capstone event we call Taste of HWA. And really, this is where our students come together, both UIC and our Chicago youth, and they showcase their learning. They are, parents are invited, school community, they're invited, and they literally taste the food that they've been making for the last 16 weeks. They literally are immersed in those activities that they've been participating in the last 16 weeks. And that takes the learning beyond those classroom walls, which is my job, which is the whole point. So we're growing. This is our 3rd year running. In our 1st year, we ran actually as a 1-week summer camp housed at the Applied Health Sciences building. And we had 6 UIC students and 12 Chicago youth that came from surrounding Chicago public schools. In our 2nd year, that's when we started running as a 16-week spring semester course. And we had 14 UIC students with 30 Chicago youth coming from one particular Chicago public school, Smith Elementary School. And then now in our 3rd year, we gained a 2nd school, Altus Academy. We have 45 UIC students enrolled, and we're up to 76 Chicago youth enrolled in the program. So that's very exciting. And we're still growing. We have a lot of interest from both public and private schools in the area and actually out of the area that would like to have our program there. In the fall, we'll have a research arm at one of the school sites to gain data in order to support and enhance the program. So I just want to end by reiterating this point that we're making changes right here in this community, right here in the department, beyond the increasing interest in the program. I get to see this every time I go. I get to hear stories every time I go. And I hear from UIC faculty and UIC students. I have students who have participated in the program now. I have Chicago youth who have participated in 3 years in a row, and I have now UIC students who have participated in it 2 years in a row. So they want to keep coming back, which I love. So yeah, thank you so much.
Well, hello, hello. I am the last roadblock between you and the food. So I'm going to talk really slowly for the next hour, hour and a half, something like that. I'll be brief. My name's Aaron. I oversee the faculty practice here at UIC. Thank you all for coming. I love stuff like this. I'm a little bit of a nerd this way, but I love just pausing and thinking about all the good stuff that we all do all the time. How many of you know that it's easy to think about the stuff you want to change and the stuff that's not so good? This is great, and it reminds me that we're doing some really important quality things here at UIC, so I hope you're getting the same vibe. We have a phrase at the faculty practice, a culture of excellence, and what that means to us in large part is we're committed to doing things better, and then better, and even better. And if that's involved in patient care or registering a patient or a form that we use for patients or the cleanliness of the practice, everything that we touch or see or involved with, we try to do it better all the time. So in regards to patient care, we opened the clinic in the fall of 2014. We currently have 7 practicing physical therapists, half of which or 4 of which are clinical faculty, and 3 of which are orthopedic residents, a unique model if you're a resident to be able to treat patients alongside clinical faculty members and watch what we do, rubbing shoulders together, I think is pretty valuable. We have seen over 18,000 patient visits. I have done that all myself actually, so it's been really tiring. No, 18,000 visits is a good amount in just 3.5 years or so. We started with physical therapy, as I said, and we have added a few services. Exercise stress testing, we've provided over 200 exercise stress tests to date. We have cardiac rehab now, and then we have a dietitian on staff as well. In regards to education, we're not just committed to being a center of excellence for patient care, but we really are committed to being a home, so to speak, for folks that are in the learning process. Our orthopedic residency was credentialed in December of 2015, and of the 9 residents that we've had come through our program, they have produced on their own 13 national conference presentations, and I think that's pretty crazy. I don't know if this is normative for residencies across the country. My assumption is it's not. It's normal for us. We've kind of set the bar high, so for our next group of residents, they know what's going to be expected. Additionally, the orthopedic specialist exam is an important thing for residents. That's one of the reasons people do a residency. All of our folks have passed it the first time they've tried to take it, so that's a pretty impressive number. We have a YouTube channel. Who would have thought? This came out of a project that a couple members of our last cohort, they saw a need there was a lack of video training for DPT students related to spinal manipulation. And their project became, let's meet that need. Let's create our own YouTube channel with really excellent, high-quality spinal manipulation videos. And now this is a resource for people across the country. We also have a fellowship here at UIC. We've had one for many years. We have between 7 and 9 fellows that come through our program every single year. They don't practice at the physical therapy faculty practice yet. That may change over the next few years. They are embedded in individual physical therapy clinics across the Chicagoland area, and a couple are here at the hospital, and numerous awards and accomplishments through our fellowship over the years. We're really committed to the individual student, and this is what I get excited about. I wish I had this when I was a student going through my training. Each student in our PT program comes to the faculty practice at some point, and they watch us treat patients, and they treat patients to some degree. They're mentored by us, and what a better way to learn how to do your job than to see it done by someone who's been doing it for a while with a real human being. And so that's been really well received by our students. As Dr. Phillips mentioned earlier, we have ongoing research opportunities for folks that are pursuing a certificate in research, and so the faculty practice serves as a hub for data collection and analysis. But there's more. Instead of me going on about how I'm kind of biased about the faculty practice because I oversee it, I thought we could end our presentation with a short video of a couple of our residents. We've asked them what they think, and I held a gun to their head and I said, "You better say something." No, I didn't. I said, really tell us what you think about your experience here, and then a couple of our own patients and what they think about their time at UIC. Hope you enjoy this.